Our next storyteller is Dave Masterson with a story from the Ukraine. Dave actually lived and worked in the eastern part of the country, but his heart was actually in the west. Here's Dave to tell you his story, East Meets West.
Hear me all right?
Yep.
So there I am, standing in the middle of a forest clearing on a dark, starry night, hand in hand with a beautiful goddess, about to jump through the flames of a bonfire in an ancient pagan ritual. Now, when I went to Ukraine, I already knew a little bit of Russian language. I knew a little bit about the Russian culture. And in our training, we learned about Ukrainian culture. And of course, I was taking Russian language classes. But we went to museums, we read about the culture, and I was just fascinated by it. I really wanted to learn more about it. And at the end of my training, I asked to go to the West, because I knew that that is where the strong Ukrainian traditions are. But they said, you speak Russian, you're going to the East. So they sent me to the East, to a small town, and I did my best there to learn the language and culture. I went to every single birthday party. I sat through hour-long feasts that went all night long, people standing up and saying toasts all the time. I went to the music school. I learned to play guitar and accordion. I learned Russian songs and Ukrainian songs. And I made friends with people. And I learned to speak Russian. Learned to speak Russian as well. And I had a lot of good friendships. I had a lot of good friends. Mostly guys. The girls were my age in my town. They were either married with kids or they had already left the town to go work in another city. So I didn't have many girlfriends. Now one day, I go into the teacher's lounge at my school, and I had made good friends with the teachers. I had good relationships with them. And I sit down, and one of the teachers says, "Hey, how are classes going?" "They're going really well." She said, "Well, what do you think about the 11th graders?" Which is like the highest class, like seniors. I said, "Oh, they're doing really great. I really enjoy the classes. It's my best class." She says, "Well, what do you think about the 11th grade girls?" "Oh, you know, they're doing really well. I really enjoy so-and-so, and so-and-so speaks English really well, and she wants to study in college." The teacher looks at me with a smile, a glint in her eye. She says, "No. How do you like girls?" And I had to explain to her that not only am I not interested, but I would get kicked out of the country. She says, "Well, don't worry, just wait a year." So, towards the end of my service, a couple of Ukrainian friends and some other Peace Corps volunteers decided to go out to Western Ukraine. We wanted to take a camping trip and go visit the mountains. We wanted to see what real Ukrainian culture was like. So we get out to this tiny little village, and we set up camp, and we're just really looking forward to meeting some people and checking out some museums and seeing what's going on in Western Ukraine. It was very different. First of all, no one spoke Russian. Everyone spoke this weird mountain Ukrainian. Even some of my Ukrainian friends didn't understand what people were saying. So we went to some museums, we went to see some folk concerts in the town square. And then one day, when we went to the market to get some food, we were talking to one of the saleswomen, and she says, "There's a big festival coming up, very important festival. And it's happening just outside of the village, and all the villages are coming to celebrate." We're like, "Sweet, this is awesome." We find out it's the Midsummer Night Festival, which is an ancient festival. And we eventually find out that the sort of point of the festival is the young women and the young men choose a partner. I'm like, this is going to be really cool. So the night comes, and we walk through the forest, and we come to this huge clearing, and it's full of people in beautiful Ukrainian folk costumes. And there's folk musicians playing, and there's good food, and there's good drink, and everyone's just dancing and having a great time. I'm like, this is awesome. This is the real Ukrainian deal. And so we're dancing and we're having a great time, we're singing, we're just enjoying everything. And different musicians are playing different Ukrainian songs, and different villagers are getting up on stage and dancing in a dance competition. Everything is just really beautiful. And we're dancing around, in one of the songs, everyone sort of circles up, and they're dancing hand in hand, around and around in a circle. And all of a sudden, I look across several rows of dancers, and my eyes meet with someone else's eyes, and I look, and it's this beautiful fairy. And my heart starts beating, and my mind is spinning, and I'm like, what's happening? I feel like time has stopped, and the dance has stopped. And then it's gone, the moment's over. And I spin around, and we go off spinning, and I was like, what just happened? Who was that? What was that? Well, I kept looking around, and I tried to find who that was. I looked, and I couldn't see. I couldn't find that person. And then, all of a sudden, we hear screaming. And into the forest clearing runs this devil character. He's dressed all in black. He's got a long tail, he's got horns on his head, and he's running through the dancers, and he's pulling people's hair and knocking hats off, and he's tripping people. And all of a sudden, he grabs one of the dancers off the stage and runs into the forest. And we're just like, what is happening? And my Ukrainian friend says, it's okay, that's part of the tradition. This devil character tries to play pranks on everyone to try and stop the young lovers from meeting. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. So we decide to get out of the fun. And we're dancing around, and in the next song, a couple friends and I carry off some Ukrainian girls in the forest. All in good fun, all in good fun. So the night is going on, and it's coming to the final sort of part of the festival. And the music is still playing, but it's playing a little bit slower. And they light the bonfires. There's different bonfires in this clearing. People begin to circle around the bonfires. And we're standing there, and everyone's sort of just waiting. What's going to happen? And the bonfire kind of grows higher and higher, and sort of the boys are looking around, and the girls are looking around. And they're waiting to see which couple is going to jump over the fire first. And one guy jumps over alone, young buck. Another girl, daring girl, beautiful girl, runs and jumps over the fire. And, just so everyone's sort of waiting in anticipation. And I'm standing there, and all of a sudden, I feel a hand grab mine. And I know who it is. And I turn and I look, and there's this beautiful goddess standing next to me with a long, beautiful white dress, hand embroidered with flowers and birds all over the dress. And there's flowers in her hair, and I'm just completely under her spell. And she pulls me towards her, and I'm just staring into her eyes. I don't even know what's happening. And she pulls me close, and she kisses me. And then she takes a step towards the fire. And my feet just move as if I'm in a dream. One step, two steps, we're running, and we jump through the flames over the bonfire, and everyone's cheering. And then back again and again, we jump over the bonfire 1, 2, 3 times. And that was how our souls were forever intertwined under the magic spell of the Western Ukrainian mountains.